What's good, YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to do this background spinning transition. It's a transition that I saw in a music video the other day, and I really liked the music video. There was a lot of energy, cool rotoscope effects, and there was this one particular rotoscope background spinning transition that I really liked, and it's really simple, so I figured why not make a tutorial on it. In After Effects, I have these two clips playing from Future's music video. In order to get started, I'm going to double click this layer and rotoscope out the subject. But after rotoscoping the subject, you want to then hit the freeze layer, and that's going to lock in the subject. So once it's done freezing, you want to then go back into the composition, and here you will have your rotoscoped subject. And then what I'm going to do is make the shift edge negative 100%, just so we don't see the outer outline of the rotoscope layer. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer and put that underneath the main layer, and that's going to be the background layer. So I'm going to put BG for background and delete the roto brush effect for that layer. And so now we have the future layer and then the background layer. Now what I'm going to do in order to get that spinning background effect is keyframe the rotation, and I'm going to make this transition 8 frames long. So I'm going to keyframe the rotation at 0, go 1 frame before the end just so I can actually see the layer, and then I'm going to keyframe this at 180. And then I'm going to add an effect called motion tile. So as the animation is happening, I can't see the black borders, and I'm going to make the output width and height at 400. And then I'm going to click mirror edges, and then what I'm going to do is add an effect called twirl. I'm going to keyframe the angle at 0 and then go where the rotation ends and keyframe that at 90. And then for the final effect, I'm going to add a transform. In order to make the background actually animate out, what I'm going to do is keyframe the scale and the position, and go towards the end, and then click U to open up the keyframes. Keyframe that at 0 so that it's completely gone. And in order for it to actually disappear right behind the rotoscope subject, what I'm going to do is make sure that the anchor point animates out from the subject. I'm going to have the position at 670 just so that it's not right at the middle, and when the background does transition out, right behind the subject. And then I'm going to keyframe the scale at 0. Grab all those keyframes, easy ease. Make sure to turn on the motion blur. So in order to create this transition, we don't want to see an empty layer in the background. So what we're going to do is grab the layer for the next scene and make sure it overlaps into our first scene, just so that when the actual transition occurs, we don't see an empty background and we see the background to the next clip. And what we're going to do in order to actually animate out the subject is we're going to have to keyframe the position. Make sure to move these keyframes towards the end, and then we're going to make this layer about 8 frames longer just so that we can actually create that position keyframe. And what we're going to do is go back into the layer. Because we extended the layer, we're going to have to still rotoscope those extra frames that we did add. To rotoscope again, what we're going to do is hit the unfreeze button and make sure to go towards the end where we did extend the layer, and then just make sure to rotoscope the subject once again. Once we rotoscope those last 8 frames, we're going to hit the freeze button again. Once we have that rotoscope, this is what we have so far. And what we're going to do is just animate position, keyframe that at its original position. Make sure to go towards the end or 1 frame before the clip ends. And all we're going to do is just animate the position down, and then grab those keyframes, easy ease them, and then make sure to grab those keyframes, move it towards the end. Make sure you have your motion blur on. And that's all there is for the effect. Not as hard as it looks. It's really just about rotoscoping and isolating the background to your subject and just animating it. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.